Welcome to Cryptic Mystic Vault, where we unravel the secrets of ancient mysteries. The year is 1296. Scotland, a land of rugged beauty and fierce independence, groans under the iron fist of Edward I of England, a monarch history would remember as the Hammer of the Scots. The Scottish people, known for their resilience and fierce pride, find themselves under the oppressive rule of a foreign king. Edward, a ruler of vast ambition and ruthlessness, covets Scotland for its resources and strategic importance. His eyes are set on expanding his dominion, and Scotland, with its rich lands and strategic position, is a prize he cannot ignore. He seeks to crush its spirit, to break its people and absorb it into his burgeoning empire. His armies march across the land, leaving a trail of fear and subjugation in their wake. Scottish nobles, caught between defiance and self-preservation, bend their knees to the English king, swearing fealty in a humiliating display of submission. Their loyalty is torn between their love for their homeland and the overwhelming power of the English crown. But in the shadows, a fire of resistance is about to be kindled. Whispers of rebellion begin to spread, and the seeds of defiance take root in the hearts of the oppressed. A fire that will challenge the might of England and forever alter the course of Scottish history. The spirit of the Scottish people, though battered, is far from broken. This is the story of William Wallace, a man whose name would become synonymous with the fight for freedom. Wallace's story is not one of noble birth or royal lineage. He was a commoner, a man of the people, whose courage and determination would inspire a nation. It is a tale born in the harsh realities of a Scotland under occupation, where the clang of English steel and the stench of fear hung heavy in the air. Villages were under constant watch, and the people lived in a state of perpetual dread. This was a time when men fought not for glory or gold, but for the fundamental right to exist, to be free in their own land. The struggle was not just for territory, but for the very soul of Scotland. It was in this crucible of oppression and defiance that William Wallace, a man of the people, would rise to challenge a king and become a legend. His journey would be fraught with peril, but his resolve would ignite a movement that would echo through the ages. Born in Elderslie, Renfrewshire, likely around 1270, Wallace entered a world already steeped in conflict. The air was thick with the tension of a land caught between the ambitions of powerful rulers and the aspirations of its people. His early life remains shrouded in mystery, the stuff of folklore and speculation. Tales of his youth are often romanticized, painting him as a boy with an unyielding spirit and a heart full of dreams. We know he was not of noble birth, but rather a son of the land, raised with the values of freedom and independence that would come to define his life. His days were spent working the fields, learning the ways of the land, and practicing with a wooden sword, perhaps dreaming of the battles he would one day fight. Some accounts suggest he may have received an education from his uncle, a priest, instilling in him a love of learning and a deep sense of justice. This education would have been rare for someone of his standing, but it provided him with a broader perspective on the world and the injustices within it. What we do know with certainty is that Wallace came of age in a Scotland reeling from English aggression. The land was scarred by battles, and the people lived under the constant threat of invasion. The death of Alexander III in 1286, followed by the tragic demise of his young heir, Margaret, Maid of Norway, had plunged Scotland into chaos. The once stable kingdom was now a land of uncertainty and fear. Edward I, sensing an opportunity, had seized upon this power vacuum, positioning himself as arbiter of the Scottish throne. His ambitions were clear and his actions ruthless as he sought to bring Scotland under English control. This act of blatant interference, a prelude to outright conquest, would have a profound impact on the young Wallace, sowing the seeds of rebellion that would later blossom into open revolt. The sight of English soldiers marching through his homeland, the stories of oppression and resistance all fueled his growing desire for freedom and justice. Wallace's journey from a boy of the land to a leader of men was just beginning, and the fires of rebellion were being stoked in his heart. The precise incident that ignited Wallace's rebellion remains a subject of debate. One popular account places him in the bustling marketplace of Lanark, where an altercation with English soldiers turned deadly. Another perhaps more legend than fact, speaks of the murder of his wife Marion Braveheart by the hand of the English sheriff, William de Heselrig. Fact and fiction have a way of intertwining in times of turmoil. What is undeniable is that in May 1297, Wallace struck a blow against English authority that would reverberate throughout Scotland. He ambushed and killed Heselrig, the English sheriff of Lanark, an act of defiance as audacious as it was daring. This act, whether motivated by personal tragedy or a calculated strike against English oppression, marked a turning point. Wallace, once a shadowy figure, was thrust into the limelight, becoming a symbol of resistance for a people yearning for a champion. News of Wallace's exploits spread like wildfire across the Scottish landscape, attracting a growing number of men to his banner. His daring raids and unyielding spirit became the talk of every village and town, inspiring hope and courage among the oppressed Scots. Farmers, blacksmiths, and ordinary folk, fueled by anger and a thirst for freedom, flocked to join his cause. These men, who had once toiled in fields and forges, now found themselves united under a common purpose, ready to fight for their homeland and their liberty. Wallace, a natural leader, possessed a charisma that transcended social barriers, uniting these disparate groups into a formidable fighting force. His speeches ignited a fire in their hearts, and his strategic mind gave them the confidence to face an enemy that seemed insurmountable. In September 1297, Wallace, alongside Andrew de Moray, another prominent Scottish rebel leader, faced their first major test, the Battle of Stirling Bridge. This battle would determine the fate of their rebellion and test their resolve against a powerful adversary. The English army, larger and better equipped, seemed assured of victory. Their ranks were filled with seasoned soldiers, and their confidence was bolstered by their superior numbers and resources. Wallace, however, had chosen his battleground carefully. The narrow Stirling Bridge would be the key to his strategy, a choke point that could turn the tide in favour of the outnumbered Scots. As the English army attempted to cross the narrow Stirling Bridge, Wallace unleashed his forces, routing the enemy in a stunning display of tactical brilliance. The Scots used the terrain to their advantage, ambushing the English and causing chaos in their ranks. The Battle of Stirling Bridge was not just a military victory, it was a seismic shift in the Scottish psyche, proving that Edward I's seemingly invincible forces could be defeated. This triumph against the odds galvanized the Scottish resistance, inspiring a renewed determination to fight for their freedom and sovereignty. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing discoveries and thrilling adventures into the past.